Hey fam, welcome or welcome back to my channel, R&R the Serial Reader. My name is Ronnie and today we're diving into my March wrap-up. And let me just say, I read a lot of books last month, 21 to be exact. Yeah, I know that's really a lot for you all to listen to, and I really don't want to keep you here all day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to challenge myself to a little game. 2 minutes per book and only 5 words to describe each one. I've got my timer ready, so let's see if I can actually stick to it. If you're ready, I'm ready. So let's get into it. I have stats, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to pop them on the screen and you can see what my reading was all about for the month of March. The timer will start once I read the title of the book. Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hillier. So this book is about a woman by the name of Paris Peralta. She was arrested and charged with her husband's murder. But what Paris fears the most is her dark, long, hidden past being discovered. There is a woman by the name of Ruby Reyes. She is dubbed as the Ice Queen, and she is set to be released from prison after serving 25 years. She is threatening to reveal Paris's secret, and now Paris has to fight not just for her past, but also for her future. So the 5 words that I would use to describe this book is mysterious, interesting, loosely thrilling, suspenseful, and obvious. 27 seconds. Yay! One down, 20 more to go. The Wife of a Jamaican Billionaire, an urban romance by Candy Moore. Book 1 of the 3-book series, The Wife of a Jamaican Billionaire. In this book, we have Ashley, who's a young mother, and she's struggling in her life. She's struggling because she's in a toxic co-parent relationship with her son's father, Chiron. She dreams of a better life, but there is this constant tension that she has and also financial hardship that keeps her in this toxic situation. But then she meets Denver Steele, aka the Devil. He is a charming Jamaican billionaire. Ashley is thrust into this world of wealth and opportunity, but she's faced with an impossible choice. And that's between the loyalty with her family and the allure of her new life. The 5 words that I would use to sum up this book is emotional, turbulent, romantic, sacrificial, and transformative. 21, 21 seconds. Yay! The Perfect Profile, the dating app horror series, book 1 by Tony LaRue. So this book is about Dallas Davenport. He's a brilliant medical student. He faces a life-threatening diagnosis that threatens his future. Dallas is desperate to come up with a solution, and that solution leads him to a dating app. This plan is so twisted. Dallas's world begins to unravel and the darkness within begins to take over. The 5 words I would use to describe this book is twisted, dark, a little suspenseful, a little gripping, and psychological. Okay. Oh, I went over. All right. I don't have any time to waste. Book 1 of the 4-book series, A Saint Loving a Savage, a Philly love story by P. Wise. So this story is about Allure Saint Gray. She is a skilled dirt biker and a four-wheeler, and she was taught by the best, her brother, Za Gray. After a devastating loss, she challenged her pain into her passion for writing. However, the fame attracts enemies and also brings risk to her. Then we meet Sadiq Savage Hadi. He's a dominant figure in the bike life scene. No one has ever come close to him other than his friend Za. Savage is focused on his empire and his family until he becomes unexpectedly captivated by Sing. She's different. She's a woman that he can just chill with like one of the boys. Their connection is electric, but there are external forces that threaten their connection. I really have fun reading this book. There are other outside characters in this story that help the flow and the interest of the book. But we'll get more about them, I'm sure, in the rest of the series. 5 words that I would use to describe this book is intense, passionate, thrilling, romantic, and empowering. All right, 13 seconds left. Executive Entanglement, the novella by Tia Love, book 2 in the I Can Have It All series. So in book 2, we get the continuation of Calliope and Brandon. Calliope has checked every box on her dream list. She's married to a tech CEO, she's raising her twins, and she has launched a thriving PR firm. But for Calliope, as she is putting her attention on her growing business, expanding her family is the last thing that's on her mind. However, her husband Brandon is used to getting what he wants, and he is determined to have another baby. 5 words I would use to describe this book is definitely sexy, ambitious, tense, romantic, and realistic. Okay, I am busting out this game. How many books was that? I don't even know. But we are busting it out. The 1619 Project, A New Origin by Nicole Hannah Jones. This book expands upon the groundbreaking work of the New York Times. It is a powerful collection that features 18 essays in which it explores the deep and lasting impact of slavery on the American society. It touches on subjects such as politics, music, capitalism, and democracy. It also includes some poems and works of fiction. It highlights key moments of oppression, resistance, and also struggle. This book really does illustrate how the legacy of slavery still shapes our lives today. 5 words that I would use to describe this book is provocative, enlightening, thought-provoking, comprehensive, and I know this is 2 words, but it's the truth. I'm going to read this book over and over again because I do not want to forget. And quite frankly, that's the main problem we have today, national amnesia. 13 minutes. Just Lucky and Love, a Brighton Bay novella by Sky Moon. This book is about Nyx. Her world is shattered when she finds out that her boyfriend is married and has a child. She feels betrayed and disillusioned about love. She is really struggling with the fallout of it all, and she even loses faith in finding true happiness. Then we have Jamie. He becomes unexpectedly drawn to Nyx after he himself faces his own letdown in a long term relationship. Together, they develop this stance against love, but in the midst of it, they develop this beautiful friendship with a tease of a budding romance. 5 words that I would use to describe this book, it's a little heartbreaking, it's redemptive, it's emotional, definitely it's empowering, and it's hopeful. I didn't make it. Mason Neiman 2 book series, An African American Romance by Jatoria C. All right, so in this series, we have Mason and we have Ty Lee. Mason has loved Ty Lee since high school, but he has a dangerous lifestyle and it kept him at a distance from Ty Lee. After years of silently protecting her, and I'm saying that nicely because nothing what he did was nice. He's ready to claim the love that he's always desired with Ty Lee, and he doesn't care who he has to go up against. For Ty Lee, she has to now make a choice. She's fighting with her head and her heart. Even when Ty Lee stops fighting and follows what truly matters, it's still not easy for her and Mason because they come up against a whole array of challenges. 5 words I would use to describe this book is passionate, intense, dramatic, weird as fuck, and cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Yes, I know, not 5 words, but cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I can't believe I still had 9 seconds left after I said all of that. This next one is a 3-book series called A Drug Called You. Actually, it's a 4-book series, but I read the first 3 books in the series, and it is by Miss Candace. And so we have here Violet McLean. Her life is thrown upside down when she meets Calvetti, Prodigy Jermaine. Prodigy is a mysterious man and a new arrival to this small town. He's drawn to Violet because he's never met a woman like her. He wants more, and so does she, but their relationship is filled with challenges. One being Prodigy's polygamous lifestyle and his inability to control his emotions. On top of that, there are secrets, and Violet, she has unresolved trauma. 5 words that I would use to describe this series is very intense, very emotional, very turbulent, very complicated, and passionate. Ten seconds. Copies. Now we're going to move on to the digital versions, which are the ebooks and the audiobooks. Unlucky You by Casey Mills. So in this book, we have Grant Sinclair. He winds up suffering a tragic loss. Subsequently, it leads him to imprisonment. And for that, guilt gnaws at him because he has to leave his family fractured. Then we have Sanaya Montgomery. She's a talented photographer that eventually enters into Grant's life. She is really determined and she is challenging his emotional barriers. The 5 words that I would use to describe this book, it's definitely heartfelt, redemptive. It's very emotional, it's complicated, and also transformative. 17 seconds. Finesse by the Connect by Dak, D-A-K. So in this story, we get Ida Kine, who is an African immigrant, and she's always been a devoted Muslim wife. But when her husband, Ali, walks away to favor his second wife, she's forced to rebuild her life from scratch. Ida is left to face a harsh reality, but Ida learns to play the game on her own terms, and she's not playing to lose. She develops a partnership with Mullah. He's this powerful man with this shared grudge against Ali. This quickly evolves into something deeper than business. You know how it goes. If I can't have her, no one can. And as jealousy brews and tension explodes, Ida is now torn between the familiar pain of her past and the promise of her bold and new future. So 5 words I would use to describe this book is empowering, gritty, revengeful, emotional, and definitely satisfying. I just had to overdo it with my descriptions. Fox, Welcome to the Woods by Bianca Zaviera. I looked up the pronunciation and that's what it told me. It's Zaviera. So we have Amaris Jackson. She is driven by her dreams of being a supermodel, and she leaves her home country at the age of 18 against her father's wishes to pursue her ambitions. However, her aspirations are derailed when she becomes entangled in a deceptive marriage to a man by the name of Ivo Yannick. This leads her into being in an abusive relationship for 6 years and also forced into escorting. She meets by chance a jewelry store owner by the name of Francis Fox Matisse, also a man a part of a generational mafia. He's known for pursuing beautiful and unavailable women. He offers Amaris a glimpse of hope. But despite the dangerous connections between Fox and her husband, Amaris and Fox find themselves really drawn to one another. The 5 words that describe this book is seductive, dangerous, emotional, resilient, and forbidden. 4 seconds. Phase by James P. I wasn't really too sure how I was going to feel about this book. It really picked up for me in the second half of the book. So we have Faison Gray, who is this dedicated boxer. He has this strong sense of faith and family, and things are starting to fall into place for him. And then he meets Desiree Douglas. She's this determined woman, and she really had to learn how to rely on herself after years of hardship. Although they are at 2 different points in their lives, it doesn't stop the instant attraction that they have for one another. Their attraction grows instantly and it's really undeniable. Their relationship is tested by family drama. Faze not only has to fight in the ring, but he also has to find for a love he never expected to find. 5 words to describe this book, I would say passionate, resilient, complicated, faithful, and definitely determined. I just made it. Stolen by a Millionaire by Miss J, books 1 and 2 from the Duke Family 4-book series. The first 2 is about Irvi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, but Irvi is trapped in this loveless marriage to Georgia's governor, Kamani. That name Kamani, I knew a little boy named Kamani and he was bad. So I knew, oh, I don't have time to play. So she becomes this pawn when her husband incurs this gambling debt. And he incurs this gambling debt to the powerful Ananias Duke. Ananias decides to kidnap Irvi because Kamani is garbage. However, she is then exposed to this world of luxury, but also deceit. It's through this whole thing that she discovers her husband's betrayal. But it doesn't stop the growing attraction that she has for Ananias. She is hit with some internal conflict as well. Irvi really needs to figure out these complex emotions that she has and where her loyalty really lies. Secrets are being exposed, and Irvi has to face the outside world about her feelings for Ananias. It's really a challenge trying to justify her feelings to everyone because I didn't make it. But anyway, the 5 words that I would use to describe this book is intense, definitely forbidden, passionate, somewhat suspenseful, and emotional. This book was the Tipsy's book club of the month, and it is Just a Friend by Ashley Nicole. So in this book, we get Harlow, and she has spent years being the only girl in a close-knit group of guys. They act like protective older brothers, and they are constantly involved in her life. Harlow is ready to break free. She's ready to find love, even if her overprotective friends don't approve. Just as she's about to take the plunge, one of the guys starts to look at her in a new light, and she too can't help but feel the same way. 5 words to describe this book: humorous. You will definitely get chuckles out of this book. Steamy, definitely steamy. Heartwarming, entertaining, and romantic. 10 seconds left. And then Life Was Beautiful by Asia Monique, book 1 of the 3-book series, The Hanson Family. So book 1, we get August. He's quiet and powerful, and he's a man who communicates through his actions rather than his words. He feels a deep connection with Corey Mitchell. She brings a type of calm to his chaotic world. Both go through life-altering events, and it kind of threatens their newly found relationship. But even if they wanted to back away from each other, they can't because they are now bonded for life, which makes everything, including their feelings, more complicated. 5 words, I would say definitely emotional. I was crying. Romantic. Heartfelt. Complicated, but beautiful. Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black. So in this story, we have Jacob. He's a dying father who writes a heartfelt letter to his estranged son, Isaac, whom he has not seen in years. It's this time where Jacob reflects on their fractured relationship, but also it's a moment or moments for him to reflect on deep-rooted trauma that was passed down through generation. Jacob shares these painful truths about his family legacy and his own regrets, even his own complicated feelings about his son Isaac being gay. 5 words: sad, heartbreaking, very emotional, traumatic, and hopeful. This was a remarkable piece of work. I truly cried. I cried for the breakdown of the family, and I also cried for the broken relationship between father and son. More so, I cried for what was and what should have been between the two. I highly recommend this book. Whoa, that was a lot of books, but we made it through all 21. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these, or maybe you might be adding some to your TBR. And even more, what was your favorite read in the month of March? If you enjoyed this wrap up, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. Until next time, keep on reading and click the video on the screen, and I'll see you over there. Bye, guys.